Let us start this beautiful session with a warm welcome to our esteemed guest for the day, Colonel Inderjeet Singh ji, and from Vara Technologies. And I'm very proud to say that he has done wonders. I've been hearing and reading a lot about him. He is the Chief Cyber Security Officer for Vara Technologies. And let me give a brief about him. Inderjeet Singh sir has been Chief Cybersecurity Officer at Vara Technologies for some time now. In his role, he is instrumental in building the cybersecurity business unit for the group. He's working in the disruptive technologies in the cybersecurity space for securing IT networks, smart cities, and critical information infrastructure. In addition, he is also member board of advisors, Amity International Business School, and Director General, Cybersecurity Association of India. He has served in Indian Defence Forces as Luminous of IIT Kharagpur and Symbiosis Institute of Management, Pune. He is an experienced information systems professional with experience of more than 29 plus years across a wide spectrum of areas spanning information security, risk management, cybersecurity, cyber forensics, cyber warfare, cyber terrorism, expertise in SOC and CERT, Internet of Things, including IoT security, blockchain, and cryptonomics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence in small city. He has held prestigious appointments while in Indian Army and has been the CIO of e-commerce company. He has also served in United Nations mission in Democratic Republic of Congo. He is a visionary for startup incubation and entrepreneurship development, strategic consulting, and new technology evaluation for commercial viability. He is a subject matter expert in latest innovative technological domains and effective managed mission critical projects. He is consistently delivering mission critical results in the field of information security management, cybersecurity, cyber warfare, and cyber risk management. He is also a council member of CET. I mean, the list is quite exhaustive. So just continuing because it's an honor to have him today. So he's a council member of CET and fellow of IETE, member of CSI, and executive council member Society for Data Science, member Information Systems Audit and Control Association, executive committee member for International Organization for Education Development, managing editor of Cybernomics periodical, member IEE, ISOC, IoT for Smart Cities, Task Force, Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India, Internet Engineering Task Force, USI, and many other professional bodies. So he has been consistently awarded while in the army and again as a magnificent CIO of the Year Award in the year 2016 and Excellence Award by International Police Commission in the year 2019. So 50 Innovative Leaders Award in 2020 and Cybersecurity Leadership Award in 2020. So over to you, sir. A warm welcome once again, and it is
Thank
a
you.
privilege to have you, sir. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you, Dr. Seni, Dr. Shalini, and the complete Amity faculty. It's really a pleasure to be with you all today and talk on the point which is really concerning everyone, right? And that's what do we do for the next future? How do we really get ready for ourselves, right? And what's the future ahead for us, especially in a particular domain? So though we can talk of different domains per se, notwithstanding different technologies which are coming up, we'll today focus on cybersecurity. Though we can talk of AI, machine learning, because lots of questions when it comes to students as to how do we be ready for AI jobs? How do we be ready for blockchain jobs? How do we be ready for IoT related jobs? Right, and of course, the cream and the topping of all is the cybersecurity, right? And that's where that's the area which is interesting to all of us, and that's where I'm going to be talking of how the cybersecurity is going to play a major role, in and you can take it as a career and make it one of the best careers which is available to you. And we will be discussing. So the pattern which will follow is that I'll just run down some of the slides which I have and try to bring everybody on the same page, take on your questions which are important to you, and discuss those questions, which queries which are there, and try and answer all those queries which we can do that, right? So I will just share my screen. And if you have any question in between, you can, put in the chat box or raise your hand so that, a second. Yeah. So can you see my slides, please? Perfect. So this is what we have been going to be talking about, careers in cybersecurity, and why career in cybersecurity. Just to draw a analogy as to where we are today and how the things have traveled all these years. Earlier time, you would have noticed a lot of jobs as a travel agent, data entry operators. Most of the students used to get out of after the academia, get into a data entry operators, traffic challan inspectors, ticket vendors, parking ticket collectors. You're a computer engineer, one of the best kind of learning, and thereafter good jobs that you had. And because of AI-driven coding, which we see. But what has happened is early 21st century, your travel agent jobs are gone. Your data entry operators, they have gone 2015. 2019, we are seeing the traffic challan inspectors gone because you have smart parkings everywhere. Your ticket vendors are gone in 2010. 2018, your parking ticket collectors are gone. And what's happening 2021? What's been gone in 2021? And to be very surprised, computer engineers, right? That's where the real point of concern, what we are seeing. So what do we do now, right? We need to do something radical, change our pattern of studies, change our skill sets, be ready for the jobs, right? And some numbers which I want to give it to you, they may be alarming, but that alarm is to be careful about what you need to do in the future, right? And the automation, what we are seeing, and you're very lucky as a generation where you're seeing AI coming in when everything is happening in front of you, right? AI, ML, blockchain, IoT era, which is there. It's really fantastic. And you can do wonders when all these technologies are, coming to the full shape. But unfortunately, if we go by the same pattern, we'll lose almost 73 million jobs by 2030, right? And what's going to go? Again, I'll show you something. Drivers are gone, right? And we'll more have self-driving cars, which are going to be there. These are going to be AI based. Your software coders, like and India being a software coding hub for the world. But unfortunately, these jobs are going to go. What's going to come in? Your AI bots. So you need to, hone your skills to the AI. Your software testers are gone, right? And that's where you're going to have machine learning coming up, because machine learning gives the AI in different flavors, whether there's a the supervised AI, unsupervised AI, autonomous AI. Web dwellers were going off, right? And you're going to have blockchain. That's where you're going to have, and any other job replaceable by, any technology which comes in, or the AI which is going to be there. So that's we are going to see, and this is what is happening in front of you, right? So how do you remain really relevant and employable when you come to the industry today? And that's the biggest challenge, biggest question. When we get in for the job, we see very high level of rejection. The reasons are why. We are still looking in for the jobs, which were the erstwhile jobs which I showed it to you. We are not skilled to do those jobs, which are the next gen jobs. Like I told you, the blockchain coding, AI coding, AI algorithms, your machine learning algorithms, your IoT, algorithms which are there, your protocols, your standards. So are we still employable? Your data analytics, big data analytics. So are we still employable, right, for those kind of jobs? That's you have to answer. I'll not give the answer to it right now because it may be disheartening at times. It may be, good for some people, but that definitely you need to do an acid test for yourself. Are you employable? Are you ready for those jobs? Right. So the question, and you need to answer. Actually, had this been a auditorium and we would have been speaking, this was a major question we would have liked to answer you. Are you future ready? Right. Ask for yourself, are you future ready? Future ready with skills? Future ready to get in jobs? Or you're still looking in for same mundane jobs which I just told you? That will not take you a bit longer, in your career. You'll have to have, there'll be a lot of roadblocks if you look at it. For that, you need to really, work hard to get into your skills, right? And questions you should ask: will the jobs you are preparing exist in future? Are these jobs going to be there? Because you have a great career, leave your colleges, right? Are the jobs still going to be there for you? What are the skills that you need to prepare for the jobs in next 2 decades? Just don't think of what you're seeing now. You're seeing the future, and that's what I told in front of, in my start of my talk. You're really very lucky when the AI development is all happening in front of you. And there are so much of research and studies which are there in the open platform where you can really know what's going to happen 5 years hence, 10 years hence, 15 years, 25 years. Right? So what are the skills which you need to do it? Whether you need to know blockchain coding, whether you need to do AI coding, whether you want to go into the transportation sector. And to tell you one thing, here I want to just try to tell you, you may be saying that I'm not from a technology domain, so I really not be affected by these technologies, what you're talking. It's a myth, if I tell you, because any job which you're going to be doing now is dependent on technology. Whether you have a transportation, whether you do a healthcare, whether you do shipping, whether you do your logistics, everywhere you're going to embrace either AI, blockchain, IoT, all these technologies. And if you're not aware of those things, then you're not future ready, right? And that's really very important as to how do you make a difference, as compared to others? How do you distinguish yourself, right? That is the major question which you need to answer, right? Otherwise, you'll be lost in the crowd. That's what I am trying to bring it out. So one possible answer, which I'm going to be talking about, because the topic today is cybersec. So we will be talking about the cybersecurity, but of course, we can talk of the AI, your ML, your blockchain. What are the other skills which you need to do? What you need to take it on. We can always talk on. There's no problem. No, that's a very interesting topic. Okay, so we'll focus today on the cybersecurity. And when we talk about cybersecurity, everybody thinks of, hey, why this is a huge amount of coding which is going to be there. They're going to be, 24/7 on the screens, right? They are like always working more than required, because we know most of people do think of cybersecurity from a hacker's perspective, and we think that it's a very dingy looking job, and what's there in it for us. But when you're looking for the cybersecurity, the reality is people really are making a dent when it comes to industry. And you see the who's who all across, being in the cybersecurity. If you go onto any platform today and find the best guys who are there today, they're getting to the cybersecurity. Whether you talk of the Microsoft, IBM, Cisco, Google, Facebook, right? And those guys are doing really pretty good. And the question you may ask, if you're a cybersec guy, right, who are the people who are going to hire you? What is your employability, right? And what is the risk which is there with it, right? And the plain and simple answer is any industry which I was telling you is going to go in for the cybersecurity guys. Whether your power grid infrastructure, I mentioned a word of critical information infrastructure. I just want to touch upon your railway networks, your power grid, your water management, your waste management, right? Your nuclear plants, your power dams, everywhere you have a cybersecurity person who's going to be there. We never thought of it. IT is the next, thing which, or the cybersecurity, the next thing which every industry is going to be touching. And the new industry which is embarrassing cybersecurity is your healthcare, all your hospitals, all your, pharmaceutical companies. You never thought a company like pharmaceutical, will they have a cybersecurity? But the answer is yes. That's a new IT sector of the world. Can you imagine a steel plant going in for the cybersecurity? Because they are scared about their plant to be managed. A steel plant making doors, they are also going in for a cybersecurity. You'll be surprised. So my point of telling you is that any industry is they're all looking in for the cybersecurity. For I've listed, on the viewfoil who are hiring. They're law firms, a lot of people in law. They're into cybersecurity. Your retail business, your e-commerce companies, your big fours. Big fours are the EY, Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, and all that. Oil and gas, engineering companies, your pharmaceutical companies, your telcos, telecom companies, banks, right? And any company which holds data, you're employable there. And just see, it's a huge canvas when it comes to, for your employability part. So earlier when you thought cybersecurity, is just for no, it's much more than that. And so many industries where you can get a job. And just to touch upon, just to give you a feel of what the threats, why people are more bothered about the cybersecurity and why they should be employing you, right? So what is happening today is there's so much of organized crimes. They're state sponsored. State sponsored means that the countries are fighting against each other. Okay. They're script kiddies, like people who just write, scripts and try to create havoc. They're insider threats. That means, people inside your university only try and copy data or they try and bring down the network. So they are kind of the threat actors who are there. And what do they employ? Right? Last 6 months, because of COVID, what has happened is there are ransomware attack. Ransomware, I'll just tell you what the simplistic term is. I put in a malware in your computer. Once that malware comes into your computer, I will encrypt all your files. I'll take away the data, and till the time you don't give me money, right, I will not give your data back. That's a ransomware. And the amount of ransomware which have gone up in the last 6 months are really phenomenal, almost 20% plus than earlier times. Okay. People are really bothered about the ransomware. And one of the ransomware happened on the colleges. There's 7 universities in UK which were hit by ransomware. University of Utah was hit by ransomware. Day before, PTI was hit by ransomware. So how do they overcome? You require cybersecurity people, right? The smartphone which you have in your hands, all of you, just, you're browsing, you're playing games, but it requires cybersecurity. Who provides it? Cybersecurity person, right? So there's so much of threats all across everywhere. And you definitely require a cybersecurity talent to, look after all these things. And that's where we have to be very careful. And if you look at the threat huge, I just don't want to get on to the numbers, but the numbers are very alarming. When I'm showing you these numbers, I want to just tell you that the amount of cyber security, which is, or the cyber threats which are there, they have increased. Cyber crimes have increased. And the industries which I just told you, whether it was banks or government or, the healthcare, everywhere the cybersecurity is going to be employed. Your smart city, for example, you're finding everything smart. Okay, well, the complete cities have become smart. So, what if I hack those cities? And hackers are likely to do that. And in India also, don't be surprised. There's so much of hack attacks happening every day that it's very difficult to keep a track of how many hack attacks are happening every day. Right? Earlier time, during our time, last 10, 15 years, we used to just see or hear about a cyber attack once in 6 months or a year. Now it's happening every hour. That's the frequency. And while we are talking, the cyber attacks are happening. It's a point of concern. And how do we overcome it? It can be overcome because of your cyber talent, the cyber people who are going to be there. Right? Now, coming back to the job scenario. So what it entails that there are almost 3.5 million cybersecurity professional shortage by 2021. Right, and that's a huge number when I come to this particular figure, right? And the number of cybersecurity jobs will grow immensely, as compared to the IT jobs in times to come. And it is almost 37% as compared to 18% of the IT jobs. It's pretty huge. So when I told you about the scale of the threats which are happening, and now you just see the number of jobs which are there, it's really interesting space altogether for all of us. Okay, so I'll just move out of these slides. Okay. Just imagine, want to give you how big is the happening, right? And it's like $6 trillion, which is going to be spent annually to overcome the cyber crimes all across the world. And cybercrime is the revenue of Apple, Microsoft, and Google 10x time of 2018 figure. That's where the cybercrime is. So if you have to overcome these kind of cybercrimes, you have to have the people in cybersecurity who can take it on and secure your networks, right? So the conclusion here is that the world needs more skilled cybersecurity workforce. Without that, it's not just possible for us to, fight these kind of cyber crimes. And that's where it's an opportunity, right? Like it's a crime, so it's an opportunity. You can get into these kind of areas which you can do it. And some highlights of what I want to bring about that. Why should you consider cybersecurity as a career? So the essence of the choosing a career of cybersecurity is you can be the best fit if you choose in the best kind of skills to get into the cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is all about skills, right? And skills come by your effort, your knowledge, your courses, what you do in addition to your academic courses, right? And why you have to do that? Because you have to be, fresh to the newest technologies which are already happening, right? And since the cybersecurity threat landscape is always changing and growing and evolving, you have to really work on the skill sets. And to be in market role of cybersecurity, you have to have, your changing focuses, your specializations, and, your skills to the cybersecurity and the cyber crimes which are happening there. So what you could do, now there are, different kind of job roles which are there for the cybersecurity. You can come in as a pen tester. You can come in as a vulnerability researcher. You can come in as a security engineer, security architect, malware architect, malware analyst, SOC analyst, incident response analyst, security consultant, security pre-sales, security manager, and to end all, you can become the CISO of any company. And if you go back to my slides, which I showed you earlier, does any of these job roles, match to what I told earlier? The answer will be no. So how do you really reach to these kind of job roles? And for that, you need to have the skills. That's what I'm trying to, again and again tell you, that you need to have skills for yourself to get into jobs. So it's not only about the technical part of the cybersecurity, which I'm being trying to say. There are other non-technical opportunities also in the cybersecurity. You can come as a part of the legal and regulatory in the cybersecurity. You can get into as a cybersecurity psychologist and sociologist. That's a really new field of cybersecurity. Because, most of the people today are being facing the problem of cyberbullying, stalking, cyber depression. So how do you really handle that? There's a new job role, cyber psychologist, cyber sociologist, right? You can come in as sales and the business development of cybersecurity. You can do that. You can come into the audit and compliance. You can also be the data professionals. Like in India, we're going to have the data protection policy or the law, which is going to be published anytime now in the next winter session. Once that comes in, we're going to have a new kind of a job role, which is going to be a chief data officer in every company, right? So that will be again a non-technical job for the cybersecurity. You are going to protect the data protection of a company. So that's interesting for all of you. Okay, just to give you why cybersecurity in terms of the salaries, what excites you to get into cybersecurity. Technology wise, you may say, sir, it's really fantastic, you told us. But what about the money? So these figures are of the US, not the Indian. So Indian numbers are also there, but then I'll just show you the US numbers. So some of the top cybersecurity professionals are able to earn almost $380,000, right? And just to show you the difference between the IT jobs and the cybersecurity jobs, that will be interesting to you. So if you look at it, I'll just show you my laser pointer. So if you look at it, the top one shows the IT jobs and the IT flow supervisor, web developer, and on the bottom is like the software tester, the IT team lead. And just look at when you have the cybersecurity jobs coming in, where the figures lie, right? And if you compare the two, your cybersecurity analyst starts a job at around $67,350. Pen test around $91,000. Network security analyst around $85,000. Security engineer around $94,000. Your certified ethical hacker going up to almost $125,000. Huge money. Information security manager, $111,385, and CISO of any company there could drop to $157,000. So if you compare these numbers with your brothers or the sisters who are already doing this kind of job in the IT, see how the cybersecurity jobs are really going to give you the kind of push which you're looking at on the financial terms. So it's a really very interesting numbers to get in. Some bit which I want to tell you about, these jobs are more on skills than on qualification. So you really need to have those kind of skills, right? Whether you're a bachelor degree holder or a master's degree holder with X number of experience, that really doesn't make a difference. If you have the required number of years of skill, that's going to be very important, if you're going to get into for the cybersecurity job. So I'll go on to different domains where you can also get into, right? So either you can get into the career development of the cybersecurity, where you're looking for the training, you can go for this framework and standards, you can get into the governance, you can get into the risk assessment, you can get into the threat intelligence, you can get into the physical security, right? You can go to the user education, your security operations centers, and the system security architecture. So there are different destinations. While I told you the 10 jobs which were there, right? But there are different destinations which you can take on while you're getting into the cybersecurity, profession. And this is only a one bit of it. The canvas is pretty huge, which you can, get onto. So the other part, which is very important, right? The key skills which you need to have, right? There are two kind of things. One is the core cyber, and second is the cyber enabled skills. So if you're looking for a core cyber skills, you should know about the information security, information systems, network security. You should know about Linux, your project management, cryptography, vulnerability assessment. You should know about Unix, information assurance, and Python, as a coding languages you should know. And if you talk from the cyber enabled, roles which are there, so key skills which you should have is, some bit is like overlapping, but it's very important. You should be aware of the infosec, your network security, project management, information security, Linux, customer service, that's the ITIL, Cisco platform you should know, system administration you should know, SQL and technical support. So these are the things as a skill set you should be aware of. And I'll be coming to those, kind of how you can get these skill sets separately. So there's a high demand of these cybersecurity fields. And when we talk of the risk in the automation, so again, risk managers are really the person who are really in demand today. So you should be aware of the risk management, assessments. You should know about the governance, risk and compliances, about auditing. You should also know about the COVID platform. There's a NIST standard which is there. You should be aware of it. You should be knowing about audit planning, your external auditing. And when we talk of the audit automation, that means all the platforms, languages, you should be knowing all these languages backwards if you want to be really looking in for the job roles which I told you, and the kind of salaries which I told you. So you should be expert in the Python, Perl, Java, Splunk, right? So all these languages and the coding, you should be very proficient. And if you're thinking of picking up all these cybersecurity as a profession, definitely you can skill yourself for all these languages. Okay. So some of the certifications which I want to tell you, there are some of the entry-level certificates which you can do. There are some of the advanced level certificates which can be of interest to you. So at the entry level, you can get into a Comptisha security. That's a platform which is there. So you can get on from Network Plus certification, or you may pick up the Security Plus certification. That's very fundamental certifications which are there. Then you have the Global Information Assurance certification, right? You also have the Cisco CCNA, Cyber Operations certification. That's very important if you're really picking up, as a cybersecurity as your main profession. And you require less than 3 years of experience to do these kind of certifications. And if you are kind of now advanced, you know what to be done, you can get into the ethical hacking. You can go in for the offensive security certified professional. You can also go in for the certified information incident handler. You can go in for the cloud security knowledge certification. You can go as a qualified security assessor, offensive security certified expert, wireless professional. And then, once you've gone past this level, then I would recommend, going for the certification called CISA, your CISM, your CSSP. Okay. And some of the guys who are really interested in getting onto the cloud security, then some certifications which will be of interest to you are the AWS Solution Architect, Azure Solution Architect, and Associate Cloud Engineer. So, these are the kind of certifications which you should do yourself, right? To be in competition with your other peers in getting the job, right? And I've been always been telling you, it's the skills which you will have will get you a better job in the cybersecurity, right? And there are large number of online resources, platforms which are there where you can go and do these courses. I've listed a couple of them, but this list is not very exhaustive. It can go much more than what I have listed. So you can go to the Cybera, the Udemy, Orally, Hacker 101, CyberStart, Station X, Cyber Races, Coursera, edX. So in number of platforms which are there. So you actually can work on those, go to those platforms, register yourself, start with the courses which I've told you, and make a time plan of completing these courses in a time frame manner, right? So that you know that which courses you're going to do in a certain time frame. That will be of importance to you. That will be really interesting, right? So in a nutshell, don't assume that you have to be really technical to get into the cybersecurity domain. And if you're technical, don't think dark rooms and hoodies are the one which you'll get into. Okay. Don't think of the darknet kind of stuff. If you're not sure, start somewhere, because cybersecurity is a career. There's no start date, right? And you can start any point in time if you have really interest, and you can change career anytime, any point in time, and you really don't have to think about the money always. Do something you enjoy, and cybersecurity is one area for sure I can tell you really enjoy, because there's so much of action every day. There's so much of things which are happening every day, and so much of learning, right? So you will never, be having a very low moments where you'll see nothing happening or no progress happening. So while you sleep, there's something in the technology, in the cybersecurity has come up, which is so new, so recent and so fresh. You like to, skill yourself. So with that, I will stop here and I'll like to take your questions. You know. Yes, please. Any questions, please?
Students, please, there is one raised hand.
Yes. Uh,
Surendra.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir, having this session for us. And I'm Surendra from Amity.
Surendra, please switch on your video, beta.
The camera is not on. So my question is, like this network security field is going so big and bigger day by day. So
Your voice is muffled. If you can.
The voice is not clear, beta. Can you please be loud?
yes,
Okay.
am I audible now?
To an
Yeah.
extent.
My question is like cybersecurity field is going bigger day by day and so on. So what I've seen a couple of cases where people are talking about more data, and in fact some cybersecurity engineers
Surendra,
yeah.
Surendra, Surendra, your
Yes, sir.
voice is not at all clear, beta. आराम से बोलो and be clear with mic to your mouth, or you can write your question whatever way you say.
I will write. I think
Ruby, I would request that the students can put in their questions on the chat box and you can read it out, and
Yeah, that is a
we
better
would,
way.
respond accordingly. So that
That
will
is
keep,
a better way.
the process forward.
Yeah.
But in between, if we can hear Surinder, let's go ahead with Surinder. We'll
Yeah.
not waste more time.
Name
can brief.
student. Yeah, tell me. So there's another student named Somil Tyagi. So the question is, you are saying there is lack of jobs in cybersecurity, but still, why in our country the number of employees is low?
Okay. It's like this. To tell you one thing, why number of people of cybersecurity in India are low right now. Uh, the problem is that most of the students who are there, or the most of the people who are trying to do the cybersecurity, they are not trying to gain the hands-on experience of the cybersecurity domain itself, right? And a book cybersecurity domain is more to do with the book, the practical knowledge rather than the bookish knowledge, and that's where the gap is. Whereas you find a lot of students or the people doing courses from different institutes, which are not the best institutes, I will say, because they only give a certification without giving you the hands-on. And when it comes to employing any person in the cybersecurity, you really look in for is skills which are hands-on skills. That is where the gap between the people who are the cybersecurity trained and the people who really come in for the job. So you have to be skilled, and also you have to be hands-on for the cybersecurity, like you used to do for the software coding. Like India is known for the software codes. Why they were good? Because people used to write the codes for themselves, and they used to test those codes. Same thing has to be done in our case as well when it comes to the cybersecurity.
So there's another question by Sagar. The session was very useful for us, he says. Thank you for that. And we are MTech cybersecurity students, and we are freshers in this particular domain. Like you mentioned about the job vacancies, there are not much vacancies for freshers. So his concern is most of the places require 3+ years of experience. So can you help us with some source that can help us for the same?
Okay, just to uh, give you a heads up on this, NASCOM has got a lot of you know opportunities for the freshers when they come up for giving the jobs in the cybersecurity itself in India. And the DSCI is the organization which is working on towards skilling the people in the cybersecurity and for the jobs. Like you are into the cybersecurity itself, my advice would be, I told you about some of the courses which are there. Try and do those courses, and also try and gain hands-on knowledge on those courses. It will be very good for you. And when you come in for the job, it's not about the experience, I will say. It's all about the skills what you have, right? And if you are very much skilled, there's never a problem of picking any person today in a cybersecurity. Because if I require a person who's a penetration tester and he really has good skills, you are not going to wait for that 3 years experience or so he can be picked up any first day. And one thing which I didn't mention here, uh, when I talk of the skills, there are people who are bug bounty people. But what's a bug bounty is like, like in case of your Amity website only, if I find errors in your site, if I find errors in the Facebook, all these companies really pay very hefty to, when we tell them that there's a vulnerability in their site. Okay. And that doesn't come by the certifications. It really comes by the skills. It comes by your experience. It comes by your hands-on on doing a particular vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So skills, again, I'm trying to repeat, is very important when it comes to the cybersecurity.
So
And do the
this
courses and implement those courses, content of the courses, and try it out.
so, so there's another student, Piyush. He's saying he's thanking you a lot for this insightful session, and he says that we learn best by doing. So, what is a good starting point for solving problems and actually gaining experience from solving those problems?
So when it comes to the cybersecurity, the start point, as an ethical hacker, you can start it. And if you want to really start, working on it, start working on Kali Linux, have a command on the Python, because like I told you, cybersecurity is a mixture of everything today. It comes in, is a mix of AI, your machine learning, your deep learning, your data science, everything put together. So if you're crewed up on the Python language, you will not have much of problem when you're, working in the cybersecurity domain, writing codes. And like if you want to really come up with a startup, then you'll not really have a problem if you know all these languages.
So I think some of the questions are same to what you have already answered. Like Kalki is wanting
Kali
to
Linux.
ask, yeah, Kalki is the
Yeah.
student's name. I like to know from where I should start my learning to be a good expert. So as you had suggested to them to hone their skills,
Right.
I think your answer is there. So Akash Garg is there. Says that is it necessary to have an advanced command on Kali Linux? So to come
Yes,
with the cyber.
yes, yes. You see,
So
as a jobs are concerned, what are your job roles? Which I told you, you get a job role as a security analyst. You get a job role at penetration tester, vulnerability assessment and assessment. Security architect. So when I say those are the kind of job roles which are there, so Kali Linux is practically giving you all those tools in one platform itself. Okay, so how do you otherwise use those tools? Because there are hundreds and hundreds of tools when it comes to the cybersecurity, right? So whether it's an
right.
Nmap or a PCAP, there are a huge number of tools when it comes to cybersecurity. So Kali Linux is giving you all those tools in a bundled manner, right? And once you know about that platform, it will make your life easier. When you get onto the other levels, other uh, uh, skill sets which you want to do. And I like told you, learn Python. That will be very important.
So another student named Guriwada, he says that cybersecurity, and my question is nowadays that there are so many crimes coming about, and people have learned and gained experience in cybersecurity, and it's moving towards the negative side. What about the positive side for the future?
So the positive side, which I've told you, is you have to secure your network. So, like every technology has got is got two sides of the coin. One is the bad side, and one is the good side. Similarly, cyber has got a two sides of the coin. One is the crime, and one is the security. Okay, and here today we are talking about the cyber security, the cyber crime part, which I'm not discussing today. But when it comes to the cybersecurity, we have to make our network more secure. You know, that is the positive side of it. We are trying to make our data secure, right? That is the positive side of it. So those are the things which we always keep on thinking and take the cybersecurity ahead.
So there's a student named Trisha. She wants to know, I mean, she has all praises for you. And she is wanting to know, has cybersecurity field been much explored in terms of entrepreneurship domain? So, or is it just confined to the services in the job sector?
No, there are so many entrepreneurs who are there in cybersecurity. Uh, the kind of technologies which are coming up, like I told you, that every night you sleep, you find a new technology or a new, software which has come up in the cybersecurity, which I see it every day. You know, you will be surprised the kind of startups which are coming up. A lot of entrepreneurs who are really getting up and getting into the cybersecurity space. So it's a I will coin a term called cybernera, instead of the entrepreneurship, and the cyber guys are really going to be kind of front runners when it comes to the next level of entrepreneurship is concerned. So it's not just the jobs which I told you; it's about the the cyber guys who are going to be really making the headway, and they're going to lead the complete race.
So we have a student named Sagar and a couple of others who are really keen to connect to you to draw more apart from this session. So
Sure.
any suggestions for them?
Sure enough, anytime they can be connected. It will be a pleasure to meet you
Link,
all, guide you through.
yeah,
And
LinkedIn can
yeah,
do with you, sir.
yeah, LinkedIn, they can connect up, not an issue. They can be connected on that. And
Perfect.
somebody asked, I think, what's hacking and cybersecurity? So hacking is about getting into your systems, right? It's about crime, and the security is safeguarding yourself, right? So that's the major difference between hacking and the cybersecurity. Hackers are they can be thieves, okay? And security is your security guards who are trying to protect yourself. So you will give all the help and assistance to your security guards to protect your systems and your security team to protect it. That's how it really works.
Akash, I think your question is answered. Over to Shalini ma'am. Few words from your side. Sir, I forgot to introduce Dr. Shalini. She is our heading our computer science engineering domain in our university. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ruby ma'am. So, a big thank you to you for the effort in giving a wonderful, eye-opening presentation on cybersecurity to our students. And we all know that these days cybersecurity is on the mind of one and all. And I'm really thankful and grateful to you for apprising our students on the kind of certifications, the kind of softwares available, and different platforms which are available for them. And more on the job opportunities, which are job openings which are available, and the kind of entrepreneur opportunities which they can opt for in the field of cybersecurity. And I would really like to meet you sometime, sir. And it was
Definitely.
it was a wonderful session, and I appreciate for taking out time for apprising our students. Thank you, sir. And I would also
Definitely.
like to thank Mr. Manoj Sani and Ms. Ruby for organizing such informative webinars for our students. And they are also putting in great effort great people like you. So it was a wonderful session and a wonderful opportunity to interact with our students.
So I would also like to, take it forward from Dr. Shalini. Indeed, it was a very interactive session, sir. And I'm sure, with the insights you have given to our students, they would be deeply benefited. And in terms of exploring, further career opportunities for them into the cybersecurity
Definitely.
field. And the session was very interactive. Lot of questions coming in from the students, and they've asked, for your LinkedIn link to be connected for more insights. We really appreciate your time, sir. And in the
Definitely.
introduction also, I wanted to speak to you. Wanted to when Ruby was introducing you, the accolades you have to your credit, and moreover, from the armed forces you are. So a big salute to you, sir. And
Thank you very much.
we soon hope to visit us at our university, and perhaps we
Definitely.
can have a bigger session for a larger audience, and I'm sure they'll be deeply benefited.
Definitely.
Pleasure, Dr. Inderjeet. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ruby.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.